objective in chapter 14. It is the number trace, or as we say in this country, 3. Sometimes we say in this country, 3. Just learning objective 3. Some of you have asked me, Joel, do I need to study other parts of the book chapter? And the answer is no. You can just devote yourself to studying everything in objective 3. And I'm narrowing things down because I'm such a nice guy, right? Wrong. It's a trap. Because I'm narrowing down, it means the questions get pickier. Like, what's the 4th word on page 165? Yeah, no. Pay attention in the book to things like this. Advantages, disadvantages. Note those things. Any definition of something that I have not talked about in class, I'm relying on the book covering, so know their definition for it. You also need to make sure, because I didn't really emphasize this, make sure you read and study the terminology in the pricing appendix article, okay? Because there was stuff there that I did not cover in class, like cumulative discount, non-cumulative discount, all those types of things. Okay? So, let's get started. Distribution, our third P, which is place. Place, or distribution. The Cardinals, I have heard a rumor that their game has been canceled for tonight, postponed, as they call it, till tomorrow. That is true? Is that what you heard? Okay. Just wanted to confirm that. Good, because I wanted to take an extra long time today. So, 8 hours. Now we can do it. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the first of 8 hours of Marketing 3000. Wednesday marathon. No, this is going to be really short and sweet. You're going to like it today. An intermediary is also known as a channel member or a wholesaler or a retailer. So we're talking physical entities that facilitate the exchange from producer to buyer. Okay? So a wholesaler or retailer. That's what we're talking about. And we take their functions or benefits that they provide extremely for granted. I mean, we never think about the benefits of a store. But they, in fact, do provide them. I'll talk, well, first of all, transactional, just facilitating the buying and selling of goods. Risk-taking, how do retailers, think retailers or wholesalers here, how do they take risk? How does an intermediary take risk? What's risky? Yes?
They, buy new, Kohl's went out and they risk-taken J-Lo's line of clothing. Okay,
so what's the risk?
It would be acquiring new products from an unfamiliar.
So they could, let's say, buy a Charlie Sheen line of clothing or something, and then whatever fad or turns the other way. Okay, good. So you can be holding, just the physical holding of the stuff allows for risk. It can be a risk in consumers' change of taste, as in this example. What other type of risk? What could happen to the merchandise that you are holding in inventory?
It could spoil.
It could spoil. So what's an example of something that could spoil? Produce. Or produce. Apples, oranges, lettuce. Okay? Could spoil. What else could happen to merchandise? Yes. It could get stolen. Oh, interesting. You would think of that. Have you stolen from the store? Because you seem obsessed about giving stealing examples. No. Well, let me tell you, my first job, when I was little Joel, no, I was never little Joel, but no, I was probably about the same height. Anyway, I was like 16 or 17. First job was with Target stores, in University City, Missouri. You won't find that store there because we had the largest shrinkage rate theft in the entire Target system. And they closed us down. So, yes, things do get stolen. What's something else that could happen to the merchandise? Yes? It could go out of style, like changing tastes, okay? It never hurts to repeat that one over and over. Yeah?
Natural disaster.
A natural, now what do you consider to be a natural disaster?
Well, like, Jocelyn had a lot of their stores were going by the
So you're talking about wind damage,
or,
hurricane or tornado. Oh, and so you're smiling. That's funny to you. You think Jocelyn is really, Katrina must have really cracked you up for a while. So it's like, things get blown away by the kind of sick, twisted, tornado freak are you? No, that's exactly right. Flooding, all kinds of natural disaster. For instance, I know right now what you're thinking. You're thinking, wouldn't it be fun to set a fire to a warehouse? And yes, that would be fun, and that would be another good example of what we're talking about. So burning something down. Okay, let's move on. Logistical. Concentration, I'll talk about in just a second. That's bringing things together. Obviously, just storing stuff is a benefit because it has to be stored somewhere, so they provide that. Sorting. Now, only a few, it's very rare for a consumer to even be aware of the sorting that goes on. But when I worked at Target, what I did was the stuff would come out the truck, it would go down a little, rolling line, and I would take a box cutter and cut open the box and take the product out and put it in a way so that it could be arranged for individual sales on the shelf. So that needs to be done. And if you work at a supermarket and you have produce that spoils, you have to sort out the bad produce and things like that. So a lot of what goes on is sorting. And then physical distribution. Just getting something closer to you so that you don't have to go all the way to the student center to buy water or something. You can get it in the vending machine here. And you don't have to go to Stuttgart, Germany to buy a Porsche. You can get one in Kansas City or St. Louis. So moving things closer to us is another function. Facilitating, financing. Give me an example of, now pay attention here, an intermediary. I'm talking about a retailer or wholesaler that provides financing. Yes, in the back? Best Buy. Good example. Best Buy. Bless you. Yes. Go ahead. Home Depot. Okay, very good. Yeah, they provide financing. They provide some way for you not to pay immediately. That's what I'm talking about. When you said Walmart, okay, another one. Very good. Yeah. Yeah, but can you tell me a particular Kmart? Okay, Kmart, layaway. In the very back. What do you mean by, you making fun of my speech? You making fun of my speech impediment? Is that maybe if I was born here, maybe if I was a citizen of the United States, okay, maybe that would please you a little more. Target, yes. Target. They provide financing. In the very back. Car dealerships don't provide financing. It's the umbrella companies like GMAC Financing or Ford Credit that provide it through the intermediary. So that's kind of tricky. But department stores provide financing. How many of you have a department store credit card? What kind do you have? Nordstrom. And do they give you a discount on what you bought when you started the card, or you can't remember? Well, I know Macy's. Does anybody have a Macy's card? Or okay, they do that, right? They'll say, well, you know, you can get 10% off everything you buy, or even more, if you just sign up for our credit card. You know why they can do that? Because if you're late by a second on your card, you will be giving them all of the money that you earn in your life. No, that's an exaggeration. You don't have to give them your kids, but it's a high rate. I'll put it that way. It's a very high rate you have to pay on those department store credit cards. Okay. Grading. Okay. I provide that service here, but what I'm talking about is intermediaries like, there's only two areas I can think of really. A's are graded, and meat graded. So those are the only two instances I can think of. The wholesalers do that. Okay, and then informing. Retailers provide information like Best Buy. Best Buy, which was mentioned earlier as one of those examples that provide credit, of intermediaries that provide credit. Best Buy provides information to companies on trends. So many people will contact salespeople or sales managers at Best Buy and ask them what's hot right now, what's happening with your sales, and they get information that way. And then as customers, we also get information from intermediaries. They tell us about products, give us information about it. So they provide that informational or informing function. Let's go to the next slide and take a look at the concentration benefit. Go ahead. That would be a ricochet. Not meaningful in any way. In this little simplified theoretical example, 3 different items produced at 3 different places, 3 different groups of consumers. Essentially, if they each buy one of the products, there's 9 total transactions. Okay? Now, witness what an intermediary does to the efficiency of the process. Let's go to the next slide, please. So, here we have the store. And now, this has been reduced, the number of transactions needed, to a mere 6. So, I know that doesn't seem like much, but if you multiply this times millions and millions of times, it's a huge reduction of transactions that need to take place. Imagine if you had to go to a separate store or to the producer every time you wanted to buy every single item. The Saturday Night Live used to have they had a skit a long time ago that was with the tape store, and it was the store that only sold Scotch tape. Okay, so imagine a world like that. That's very extreme, obviously. And you would be all we would be doing is making trips to go shopping for stuff we need. I gotta go to the pencil store. Dang it. But thanks to Walmart Supercenter, one lifetime trip. You make one trip there in your lifetime, you're done. You can buy everything you need for a lifetime. Well, that's an exaggeration. But it reduces the number of transactions. It's efficient. Very efficient. Concentration function. Okay, let's move on. Oh, I have to walk down here. I have to go to my favorite little pyramid that I have. This pyramid, this is an example of